Welcome back to Foothills Firewood, guys. My name's Britt, and today we're taking the first delivery out of the bunker. Let's get it. All right, guys, so it is kind of a gloomy day out here in the wood yard, but I do believe it's supposed to clear up a little bit today. We have caught a break in the weather. We're looking at highs of 80, thank goodness, because these highs of 108 have not been cool. I think I made a video like this last year. I can feel fall coming. We're nipping on the heels of the season that we all live for. So what we're doing today is we are unloading a load of wood into the dump truck. I had not initially planned on doing bulk orders this early, but I got somewhat of a special request. A new client that I have not dealt with before that seems to be pretty promising. She wants as much wood as I can bring. Initially we talked about a cord, and then she was like, can you fit any more in the truck? To which I said, yes, I can. And so my wife and I are about to do this the hard way. You think we would learn? You think I would learn anyway. I shouldn't drag her into this. But my problem is I have multiple cord of wood surrounding my bunker. So my initial plan was to start selling out of the bunker a little bit later in the season when some of these totes were out of the way. Again, my bulk firewood usually kind of picks up September, October, and I was gonna put some of these totes in my firewood bundle stand up until that point. My problem now is I have three totes deep all the way across the bunker and not enough room in the back to load. So initially I was just gonna open the bunker and just load with a bucket, and that's probably how I'll finish the season. But as per usual, starting out, I'm gonna have to do it the hard way. So my wife, my lovely wife, and I are going to climb up on this bunker and fill this truck up. I'm gonna start with 4 face cords. So a cord and a face cord. All right, I'll show you guys what I've got. As you can see, I have just enough room to get the dump truck up there in the back, but not enough room to get the tractor back there broadside to scoop out of it. And you can see my issue here as I walk around is that I have just completely barricaded this bunker with totes. So later on in the season, all of these totes will be sold or moved. I will open the front of this bunker and I will load with the bucket. But as for today, we will be climbing Mount Oakmore. Here's the help. What do you think, baby?
I don't even know it. I don't think anything.
We're doing it the hard way, right?
We are.
That's where we're comfortable. All right, here we go. You want to go up first? You want me to? I don't know an easy way to do this here, so let's just see. Kind of need this. Let's see.
I feel like coming from the other side is going to be...
Yeah, maybe. Dang, you just hopped right up there. Oh boy. Oh God. Of course it's all wet and slippery. Yeah, that's fine. I know.
the fire.
Well, then work on this pile right here with me then. It's really tough to tell how this stuff is doing because it's so wet right now. We've had such humid, hot, and wet weather that there is definitely mildew all over the wood, all of which will dry right off once this is stacked in a dry area that gets sun. So far, after kind of scuffing up this top layer, I'm not disappointed in how it seems to be drying. Not blown away, but not disappointed. I checked a couple pieces that were like 17, 18, 19%, but those were pieces at the top of the pile. So there's really no telling what the bottom of the pile is. So I'm gonna take this delivery, and I'm still not advertising bulk wood. I'm gonna take this delivery and let the sun smash down on the new layer for a few more months. Also, this wood is for heat, and so it's just an early purchase, which I can appreciate. This person is getting this for the winter, so it's not going to be burned in the next 2 or 3 months anyway. It'll still have time to finish whatever it needs to do on location. Shoo. Every time you pull stuff out, it takes away your footing. How long would you say we've been up here?
5 minutes? 7?
I was gonna say 8. So not bad. I mean, 2 people are gonna be able to do this in 20 minutes or so if we keep up a decent pace. If I do see a piece with significant mold or mildew, we're just tossing it off to the side. Be careful, baby. The further I get down into the pile, which, you know, we're still at the top, it doesn't look bad. And we have had so much rain. I don't normally stack or offer stacking, but given the situation, the price, and the quantity, I am going to help get this put away. I don't know that I'll be able to video any of that. So a loose tossed cord like this is 180 cubic feet. A normal cord stacked, most of you might know, is 128 cubic feet. Anytime you loose toss it, the going conversion is 180. So that's what we're doing for the cord, and then we will add a face cord on top of it. Ah!
What happened?
Hornet right here.
Holy, there's another one right there at your feet. There's 3 of them. And right there.
Yeah, there's a nest.
You get a bit?
Hell yeah.
Okay, should we steer clear of that area then? Okay.
Yeah.
Another negative to this form of stacking your wood.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, hornets can make nests anywhere, I guess.
Why don't you just move?
Because if, oh, there it is. Ooh, man, I hate when something stings me. Feels like it took a piece of me.
I mean, those things were huge.
Yeah, they felt huge. All right. I would say downside number 1, but a hornet can make a nest anywhere.
Well, let me tell you, I'm glad that was you and not me.
I am too, baby. I don't want that happening to you.
Well, it's like a balloon assist. By an ant bite. Anyone's wondering, it's 110% humidity out here.
For real. Slight chance of heavy breathing. All right, I'd say we're pretty well complete. What do you think that was time-wise, babe?
I don't know, 25, 30 minutes?
25 to 30. Whew, felt like longer.
minutes.
31 minutes on the camera.
Well, from the last text I sent right before I climbed up.
I was about to say it took me 3 minutes to get up here. Yeah, 30 minutes. Let's call it that. That feels right. Shoo-wee! What do you think, baby?
I think it's very hot and it's humid.
It's really not that hot. That's the problem.
Okay, well, it's really humid.
It's definitely humid. Your boy is sweating for real. I think it is 72 degrees, but it's just like this fine mist. I won't even call it rain. I think it's just humidity. It's humidity that you can see, not just feel. So we got a load back here behind us, and we are gonna get it on down the road. All right, guys, we have got it loaded up. We're out in the driveway, just letting the truck warm up a bit, and we are gonna head that direction. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to film anything. I actually just spoke with the individual, and she was saying, how many people are you bringing with you? And I was like, this is a one-man show. This is a firewood gig that I do on my own. Every once in a while my wife helps, but obviously she is not coming with me today. She's with the kids. And she was like, oh, that's not gonna work. I've got the wood going 4 different places. So I'm gonna go into this with an open mind. Like I said, you guys know I normally do not stack. I normally, you know, my rule of thumb is to drive anywhere that I can safely get my tires. I don't, you know, I'll pull into the yard, but I don't prefer it. You guys got to really be careful with plants, fences, more importantly, septic tanks, lines like that. You know, just an idea. If you, you know, if you just willy-nilly pull through people's yards, especially with, you know, thousands and thousands of pounds of wood plus thousands of pounds of truck. So normally I say I don't like my tires to leave concrete or asphalt or whatever, but you know, if I take a look at it and somebody says, hey, just pull around here, especially if I can see that they pull around their yard a lot, you know, I'm more inclined to do it. And like I said, I don't have a massive, you know, array of people that I deliver to. The majority of people that I deliver to are people that I know and people that I have delivered to and trust. This individual she's brand new, but she's also like 80 years old. So we are going to help her out. I generally, you know, I don't advertise this, but I will stack, and generally for free, although this is a lot of wood, I will stack for elderly that are incapable and handicapped. So it's very rare that comes up. When it does, it's usually a truckload or a face cord. I can stack that out in about 30 minutes or so if I hustle, depending on where it's going. This is quite a bit more, but it does fall within the scenario of me doing the stacking. So we'll see how it goes, man. I got the day off. Hopefully I'm not spending all of it doing this. We'll find out. All right, we got an empty truck bed here. This was the route we came through here. Quite the hike. We did it with these two little wheelbarrows and gorilla carts. Some over here, some right here. Still going. This was a hell of a hike. Luckily, she found a couple other people, and I was just running back and forth with wheelbarrows. And then we've got big old mountain of wood up here, plus a load inside. All right, I hope you guys can hear me because I am not wearing a mic. I don't know where to start with this delivery. This is new territory for me. I am happy with the situation. I was well compensated, but I am not generally into doing that degree of work. You know, it wasn't, I'm normally extremely communicatory when it comes to my firewood deliveries. I tell people very specifically, especially new customers, that I will dump it wherever my tires can safely go, and I don't prefer to go off concrete or asphalt like I mentioned. And that's generally the price is dumped. Now, I leave it at that because people who really do not want to stack their own wood will generally say, what will you stack it for? And let you write your price. I don't really have a price. Again, I try to discourage that. But, you know, for the handicapped and or elderly, I will stack, and generally I'll stack for free. She mentioned paying me, and normally, you know, like I said, if it were a truckload, I wouldn't have taken the money. But because it was, you know, well over a cord of wood and the distance that she wanted me to hike this stuff, I gladly accepted the money, and she gladly gave it to me. So it was no issue. Some people have more money than they have time or power. She was thrilled with the wood. You know, it's one of those things. I'll be happy to deliver to her again, but you know, things were noted, and next time I will definitely bring some help. Fortunately for me, I guess, and her, she was able to call a couple people to swing by. It's in a gated community, so I don't know who she called or what they're, you know, I don't think they were, she paid all of them to help, so I don't think they were relatives or friends or what have you. Maybe neighbors or people who work in the community. Nevertheless, we got it all carried around. There were at least two 8-foot stacks, maybe 9 or 10-foot stacks in the back. that were, I mean, they were over my head. They were probably 6 feet tall. So we did another really long stack on the side of the house, and the longest stack that they were still stacking when I left, the people who she had helping, the longest stack was up front behind the bushes. Now, the funny thing about this delivery for me is I'm very low drama, and by low I mean zero. I pull up, I shake hands, new customer, I get out, talk to them, they pay me, I dump the wood, and we go about our business. You know, a lot of these people I've made friends with over the years, and I will, you know, I'll chat with them, have a water. You know, if they're sitting there stacking it and I'm chatting with them, not in a rush to go, I'll help them out, you know, but they don't expect it. You know, that's the general consensus of what I do in my business. Now, this neighborhood was, you know, on the nicer end. Like I said, gated community on a golf course, the whole 9 yards. So let me tell you guys the looks that I got pulling up in a 25-year-old, let's call it a 30-year-old dump truck with, you know, holes in the doors here. So I pulled up and parked in front of her house like she told me to, and you would have thought that I was running a circus, dude. People were getting in their golf carts coming by, balking at the amount of wood that she was getting. And when I tell you this lady did not care about anything that these people were saying. She had neighbors just to the side of her. I mean, they couldn't have been 30 yards, front door to front door. Neighbor was all up in arms yelling at me about stacking wood in between the house. And I was like, listen, this sounds like an issue that you're gonna have to take up with the homeowner. I hear where you're coming from, but I am here to do exactly what she's paying me to do, which is dump this wood and stack it where she tells me. This person was on the phone with the HOA, so I went and told, you know, the lady buying the wood. Let me tell you, she could not have cared less about what these neighbors were saying. She was like, don't worry about it, this is my house. She went over there, sat on their front porch, knocked on the door. They opened the door. She started saying, they said, you know, there's gonna be termites and bugs and we're gonna have infestations. And she said, listen, don't worry about it. She's spraying the wood with seven dust that you hook on the end of a water hose. She said there's gonna be no problems. Don't make a problem. This lady is telling her neighbors that. And they said, well, we're gonna call the HOA. And she's like, don't do it, you know. It was the craziest interaction. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't love neighbors being all in my business, so I moved to a place where I don't have to worry about that. The neighbors I have are at the perfect distance, and I'd give them the shirt off my back if they need it. They're all great people. But you know, that is by design. This lady is in essentially a retirement community, and she's living like she's on 40 acres. And I respect the hell out of that. She looked that dude dead in his eye when he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, dude, a little Marlboro 100, and he's just flicking that thing, mad as hell, talking about, you can't stack wood here. The HOA says there's got to be at least 50 inches in between our house. My girl comes out of pocket with a tape measure and tells this guy to pipe down. I never stopped unloading the truck, to be completely honest with you. I didn't want to have any part of that. But, you know, she wasn't backing down. She literally swatted that guy like a fly on a mule's ass, dude. I mean, it was, like I said, I got mad respect for that. So we got it all unloaded. The drama existed, you know. I'm sure there will be more drama. It would not surprise me if she calls me back and she's like, hey, you got to move all of this. But I mean, you know, I guess anything for a price. I don't want to go back over there and touch another stick of that wood. I touched it all getting it to my splitter. I touched it all getting it off my splitter. Anybody who's followed me long enough knows I don't have a conveyor. I touched it all again getting it out of the bunker. And hell, I hand tossed a lot of it into the bunker before I got the tractor. But anyway, hand tossed it all into the truck to get it out of the bunker. Then I touched it again at the client's house. So, like I said, I left well compensated. I do not feel cheated in the least bit, but it was more than I generally bargained for. But yeah, that is the story. And you know, I'll spare you guys the details, but that was the part that I found interesting. I love the fact that this lady is literally living almost in townhomes, and you know, in her mind, she's sitting on a beach somewhere with no neighbors. I love it. All right, y'all, we are all done with that dump. I appreciate you guys coming along for that ride. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect. I could probably take another delivery over there tomorrow and still not know what to expect. But nevertheless, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm gonna try to get some wood cut up, hopefully for a impromptu live tomorrow. We'll see if I get it done or not. We do have a jiu-jitsu tournament at 10, so if I do a live tomorrow, which will be Saturday, it'll probably be pretty early, maybe 8 o'clock Eastern time. So hope to see you guys there if I do make it. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching this video, hanging out with me on my day off. I really appreciate all of the likes, the comments, the subscribes and shares. And until next time, we're out here having fun. Thanks for watching.